All right, Shalom. This is Har One by Yasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp. I want to say Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Harakakodash, Ma'amah. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and the elders. Shalom to you, Akim, and Nagwatim, your children that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. I want to do a little lesson on this topic of the business insider. And it's starting to be so obvious that it can't be ignored, you know? And that's our job, to be what? Watchers. And you see Apostle Tahar going in on the topic dealing with the world being on fire and with the protests, all right? He's been talking about it all week. And you can see it building up like a kindled fire, like a fire being kindled, you know? All right, so I'm gonna read the topic. It says, the world on fire. 13 major protests happening around the globe right now. All right, so it's 13 protests, man. That's a lot of protests. I'm pretty sure it's more than that, you know what I mean? And basically, what citizens are uprising against the government, all right? Or trying to use protests to bring about what? Change, all right? For any political reasons. But now you have people like what? George Soros, the Illuminati, and they fund things like this, man. This could be their hand, you know, the silent hand, because a lot of protests in the past, George Soros played a part in that, trying to topple governments and bring their economy down. All right. Now you have Hong Kong. They just put George Soros out of there, man. All right, for fear of this civil unrest. So you never know, man. It could be that silent hand because it's happening all over the world. Hong Kong, Liberia, over there in our land, Jerusalem, right? Tel Aviv, Barcelona, Haiti. I just said Hong Kong, right? Another one in I forgot what that place is, man. They're going to say it in a second. But I'm going to keep reading. It says, protests have long been a powerful political tool for enacting change and expressing discontent. All right. So it's sort of like civil rights movements. All right. For civilians. Now it says, so they're doing what? Climate change, climate strikes. The government putting heavy taxes on the people, you know. Basically, people are getting tired of that control, and they're gonna have you resist. But when they come to the chip, they're gonna make it nice and smooth, make it a smooth process, you know, for lack of resistance. But when it comes to everything else, they're gonna strike you and make you fight. All right, stand up and fight about it. But with the chip, they're going to do that frog in the pot process, you know, nice and smooth to get you to agree through deception. All right. So it says, while protests have changed significantly with the rise of technology and social media, they're still powerful agents for change. And that's what a nation usually does, or civilians. They get tired of a government's oppression, and then they revolt, and they try to get regime change or get a policy change. All right, and that's what this nation does, man. They go, well, our people, they go to the heathen for the one of all things, trying to get rights in America, fighting to be equal. But the Lord said we're above them. All right. He also says in the scriptures that these things are going to come upon the earth. Let me see what else I can get from this. It says protests are happening right now all over the world. All right. So temptation is going to come upon all the world too, ultimately with the chip. From the yellow vest. All right. The yellow vest protest, where they're making them pay a tax to keep a yellow vest in their damn trunk. And they tell them it's mandatory to have the vest in there, and they make them trying to make them pay an extra tax for that as well. Protests in Paris to Indonesia, protests against a draconian criminal code. And draconian goes back to dragon. All right. So that's basically going back to that damn Roman style law. All right. So, all right, it says tens of thousands of protesters have been demonstrating in the streets of Hong Kong since June against a new law that would extradite people accused of crimes to China to stand trial. So they would come snatch people up from Hong Kong and bring them to China for trial. They come kidnap you and shit. Imagine somebody from what's another country or country or something like that. You know, somebody in South America come over here, Mexico come over here, just grab somebody up and take them back to Mexico. It says protesters have thrown petrol bombs, rocks, and acid at police, and this is all set up for martial law. All right. All they gotta do is call a state of emergency. You know, and they can bring in martial law. The economy can collapse in the midst of this, and they can blame it on the protests or have the fire already going. Who in turn have sprayed tear gas. The protest reached a new level of violence on Tuesday when one protester was shot in the face by police. I saw that one. One of the Hong Kong protesters. He got shot in the face. The first use of live rounds during the conflict. The protester, an 18-year-old man, is thought to be in critical condition. All right. So, yeah, man. So all these protests going on around the world, and the world is indeed on fire, literally. All right. Last week, thousands of protesters in Jakarta clashed with police after a new criminal code was announced. The code would outlaw sex outside of marriage, and set a jail sentence of 6 months for unmarried couples living together, among other laws. Jeez, they got these crazy, twisting a lot of shit. So, yeah, man, you got people protesting for different reasons all around the world, you know, for their own agendas, for their own reasons, but nobody protesting for the scriptures. All right. And that's why the Lord say, what? 2 Ezra 15:1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, right? Because the spirit of Yahweh Shai, the spirit of prophecy. And he tells us to lift up a banner upon the high mountain. All right, and go out into the streets and exalt the voice unto our people, so that they may go into the gates of the nobles and protest the right way. This way, the Lord said we're supposed to have a stick with two sides on it. The children of Israel, northern kingdom and southern kingdom, crying out to our people, shaking the hand that they, you know, showing them they're wicked, telling them that they're wicked. All right. Matter of fact, Isaiah 13:1, the burden of Babylon, which Isaiah, the son of Amos, did see. And Babylon is America, and it's them protests coming here to America. You have the presidential elections this year kicking off, and the economy situation. You know, you got so many different. You got the protests overseas. The backdraft of it reaching out over here to America, because you have people from China and Hong Kong over here and Haiti, and these people can start protesting here for different reasons. All right, and they got reason to protest with Trump if you get impeached. They said it could be a government shutdown, which is probably gonna be one anyway. You know, they could force everybody to get debit cards and then go cashless. There's so many reasons for protests to break out here in America. All right, civil unrest. It says, lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain. Exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles. So that's true protest, you know. This is the etymology of the word protest. It says, a statement or action expressing disapproval of or objection to something. All right. An organized public demonstration expressing strong objection to an official policy or course of action. A written declaration, so you can protest through correspondence as well, contract or paper. Typically by a notary public, all right, which makes it notarized by the state. If you protest through correspondence, which is through paper contract, that a bill has been presented and payment or acceptance refused. Wow, that's deep. All right, 2 Ezra 15:1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people. So that's what we're supposed to be speaking to. When we lift up the banner, we speak to who? His people, the children of Israel, and warn them of these times that's coming. All right. They're in the sinking ship, like the Titanic. America's like the Titanic. And those that love this place, man, they're going to burn with it. The fire is already kindled. It says, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy. And that's the spirit of Yahushua, to speak it before it happens. All right. From his word, which I will put in thy mouth, saith Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. All right, so it says, fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. And it says, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness, man. So 2/3 of our people that don't have confidence in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua or faith, they're going to die in that unbelief. All right. Behold, saith Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, I will bring plagues upon the world. And plague is just a hurtful thing. All right. So it says plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. So that's what we're witnessing, man. All right, just like a baby being born, you start to see the head come out, you see the arm, whatever, So the Lord is letting these things loose upon the earth. All hell is breaking loose. For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled, man. So Esau's hurtful works are fulfilled. 2/3 of our people, hurtful works are fulfilled. All right, their wickedness has reached up to the heavens, and the time of Esau's end has come. And once that happens, that's it. And the cup is full up with wickedness. That's when the Lord, like, all right, now I can judge them and call them the wicked, as I created them to be. All right, as He created them to be the wicked, they have a certain measure that they have to reach. And even 2/3 of our people, for them to be considered for judgment. So, that's why the Lord is destroying the earth. Therefore, saith Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, man, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually, man. And we are complaining continually in the heavens and upon the earth. All right. So let me get this real quick. 2 Ezra 15:14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands, man. And that's what level is reaching. It's starting to reach the level where they're going to get past throwing rocks and sticks. They're going to start shooting at each other now, as they're doing. For there shall be sedition among men. All right. And what's sedition? All right. This is the word sedition. It says rebellion, uprising, revolt, concerted attempt to overthrow civil authority. And that's what they're attempting to do in protest, and at some point topple the government. All right. And these elite bankers are funding it worldwide, most of them. Violent strife between factions. So it can be like Mexicans versus Hondurans, or Democrats versus Republicans, so on and so on. Civil or religious disorder, riots. So, all right, so it could be for any reason. It's called civil unrest. Rebelliousness against authority, man. So that's the civilians rising up against the government. 2 Ezra 15-16. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, all right? Invading one another countries, invading one another neighborhoods, their houses, all right? And that goes with Psalms 91. The Lord said he's going to protect the hopeful elect from all those things. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their own power, meaning they're going to take their rights into their own hand. They're going to stand up for their rights, you know? It says a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able to. And that's what it's ultimately going to lead up to. All right. Once the economies collapse or something major happens to where they're going to shut it down at the borders, and you won't be able to get into a city or get out in the midst of martial law. For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed, and the men shall be afraid. All right. Because of the wickedness of the world. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation, man. So when all hell break loose upon the earth and people don't have nothing to eat.
A state of emergency has been imposed in several cities across Chile after 7 people died amid violent clashes and arson attacks over the weekend. Tear gas and water cannons were used against demonstrators as police and military forces announced a nighttime curfew to try and restore order.
Yo, when all hell break loose, which it already is, and the economy collapsing and people have no other choice and they start bugging out, nothing left, man, these people are going to start invading one another, man. Going crazy just to eat, you know, and killing each other.
The unrest was sparked by a metro fare hike, which has now been suspended, but the protests have grown, with anger over living costs and inequality simmering amongst demonstrators. President Sedition has defended the government's response.
Holy shit.